Hi, welcome back to Get Your Sit Together. I'm Jessica Kulick and I am excited to lead us through another 15-minute meditation. Today's meditation is going to be on good intentions. So go ahead and make your body comfortable to begin. You can sit on a meditation cushion as I'm doing, in a kitchen chair, lying down on your couch, on the floor, on your bed. Really all that matters is that you can relax your body and focus your mind for the next 15 minutes. So today's meditation is inspired by a passage from a book called Become What You Are by Alan Watts. I've been very inspired by Watts's writings and lectures for quite a few years now. And this particular passage has been circling in my mind for the last 2 years especially. We're going to read the entire passage, so get settled and let's begin. It is an old saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Those who believe that motive is the most important factor in any undertaking will be puzzled by this saying. For is not right motive the first step in the Buddha's path? And is it not stressed again and again that each step is set about with danger if the motive for taking it is not pure? But beware of good motives. There are good intentions, and things are not always what they seem. Nothing is easier than to give up the world because one is incompetent in the affairs of the world. There is no wisdom in scorning riches simply because one is unable to obtain them, nor in despising the pleasures of the senses because one has not the means of fulfilling them. If the desire for these things exists, and if that desire is thwarted by circumstance, to add self-deception to frustration is to exchange a lesser hell for a greater. No hell is worse than that in which one lives without knowing it. For the desire which is scorned for no other reason than that it cannot be satisfied is the greatest of man's enemies. One may pretend that it does not exist, that one has surrendered it, but one must sincerely answer the question, if I could satisfy that desire, would I? If that is not answered, to make a show of giving up the world, to take up the ascetic life, not of desire but of necessity, and to pride oneself on it, that is to hide one's face from the enemy, and so become doubly vulnerable. Thus, the first step on the path is to know what you want, not what you ought to want. Only in this way can the pilgrim set out upon his journey fully prepared. Otherwise, he is like a general that leads a campaign into an unknown territory, who, instead of ascertaining his own strength and the strength and position of his foe, concerns himself only with what he imagines these things ought to be. And however good his imaginations, he will, without doubt, lead his army into a hell. Take a brief moment to allow Alan Watts's words to settle into your body and settle into your mind. Perhaps by taking a big breath in And a big breath out. And trying that twice more. Easy inhale. Easy exhale. Last one, full breath in. Complete breath out. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So paradoxical. It's challenging when we mean well, but then our actions don't land well for others. Or conversely, when others mean well towards us, but then we don't interpret their actions positively. It's like the mother who gives her adult child advice that was neither wanted or asked for. And the advice, even if perhaps it is good, inadvertently pushes the child away and creates further distance in their relationship rather than intimacy. The intentions were good, but the actions led to hell. The crux of what Alan Watts has pointed out in this essay is that we mustn't surrender our desires simply because we are incapable of achieving them. We should back that up, perhaps, and start with the understanding that our desires are inherently in accordance with God's will. And you are welcome to substitute the term God for any deity you prefer, a more agnostic term like the universe. So what we need to understand there is that each of us has a part to play, and our desires are what help lead us down the correct path, the part that we're meant to play in this universe, in the eternal now. And so to sublimate your desires because you cannot achieve them is simply creating a greater hell. So if, for instance, you desire to own a home, your first step down the path might be educating yourself on the financial products required. But if you say to yourself, I desire to own a home, but I will simply never be able to afford a home, not only have you done yourself a great disservice, you are also out of step with the universe. So as Watts writes, it's about knowing what we want, not what we ought to want. Not what society tells us we should desire. Not what your parents tell you you should desire. Not what your teachers tell you you should desire. Not what the media or your friends tell you you should desire. It's about looking deep within yourself to determine what it is that you hunger for. And then taking steps like a general leading his army into the wilderness to fight the enemy to make that happen. Because following through on your dreams is going to be challenging, and there will almost certainly be suffering and failure along the way. I can practically guarantee it. But we can't suppress ourselves in the pursuit of what we hunger for. So be careful and notice, where does my desire come from? Is it something I've heard somewhere before? Something I'm supposed to do? Some achievement that will supposedly make me happy? Perhaps as an exercise after this meditation, you write down all that you desire. Fill up an entire page if you wish. And then pick out the 3 biggest desires of your heart. And then ruthlessly prioritize those 3 things. And this week, take 1 step towards your number 1 desire. That step often begins with education. As we close out our meditation, perhaps you make a promise to yourself that as you identify your desires, you will then acquire the knowledge that is necessary to attain those desires. And once knowledge has been attained, you will take action towards those desires. Identify desire, attain knowledge, take action. Take a deep breath in and a complete breath out. Thank you so much for your practice. I'll see you next time.